turnover.
He's got a man.
Harper going deep. Caught.
Well, if I kind of look like crap, well, that's because I feel like crap. You know, I've said it, and I wish it wasn't this way, but I said it before, say it again. You know, there's been so much things that's gone wrong over the last decade that Nebraska's just struggled to get over to that sixth win and into a bowl, that threshold. And I said it at the beginning of the season, I said it during the season, I'll say it again. The hardest win, and you're seeing this, guys, the hardest win is win number 6. And I know they're talking about what's happened in the past doesn't matter, you know, things like that. We're not thinking about that. That's different players. Well, it's not totally different players, but I'm serious. This is a veteran team that's been here, some of them for 6+ years. And they've seen this over and over and over again where they just can't get that win number 6. When something goes wrong in a game, it's Murphy's Law. Something can go wrong, it will go wrong. That's why I always said losing's addictive. But winning can be that way as well. So it's not like it's never going to happen. The question is, when is it going to happen? I mean, you almost wish you could have a FCS team or one of them non-conference games besides Colorado have it around this time. But what happens, and you've seen it over the last few years, some of Nebraska's toughest games are towards the end of the season. And this year's not going to be much different. You happen to find a UCLA team that's finally found their legs underneath them, started playing better, you know, this game would have played first 3 weeks. I bet you it's a different story. But right now, the Huskers can't seem to get out of their own way. And it's been that way. And it's not that they're doing it on purpose and they don't mean to do it. And they could sit there and go, man, I'm not thinking of that. They're not. But psychologically, it's there. I've lived long enough to know it. You know, it makes it tough. It magnifies every little mistake, every little call from everyone, coaches, players. And on top of that, you have some very young players at some key positions. And then you have them veterans on a normal veteran team that wins is a good thing. But I don't know how much good does it do when you have veterans that seem losing and not getting to that 6th win year in and year out, where now they've lost 3 in a row because they're now 5-4. They were sitting at 5-1, needing one more win. And now, like I said, 3 in a row with 3 more to go. And it wouldn't surprise me. And I said that in my prediction. I said that, you know, last week. I said, it's kind of like where they were sitting last year, going to Michigan State. And Michigan State, out of all of them they were playing, were probably the better team to beat. And honestly, I thought UCLA might be the better team to beat. And it still could have been. But they were probably playing one of the better ones, them and Wisconsin. But you got to go on the road to face USC, but they haven't been playing as well lately. But I said, if they can't win, if they win against UCLA and get number 6, and I'm telling you guys, when they get number 6, if they could get to 6, you'll see a different team. When they could get to the point where they could relax and breathe and just go out and play, it's easier said than done. It's psychological. I'm telling you, that's what it is. So it's not like they're a bad team. They've proven that with Ohio State, and you saw Ohio State handle Penn State. Penn State could only get 13 on them. So all these people that want to get all over Satterfield and all that for last week with Ohio State, and remember, I can guarantee you, Dylan might have told you, man, there was a couple of them passes that were touchdowns. He just missed them. You know, if you had one of them or both of them, you're looking at 31 last week instead of 17, which is what basically Oregon put on him. But then you look at Penn State with their offense, their team, and they only put 13 on them. Defense played well, only gave up 21 last week, and that was basically on 3 or 4, broken plays. And you saw this week, Ohio State was able to run the ball through Penn State in that defense. So Nebraska has a good team. I think the reason why they played so well last week is because no one expected them to win. No one gave them a chance. Remember, they were like 26-point underdogs. So they probably went in there a little more looser, and they just got embarrassed by Indiana. So they kind of let it all out. Not saying they didn't expect to win, but no one else expected them to win. And I think at the end, they started believing, hey, we could win this. But again, it was hard. At the end, you had that lead just to get over that hump. And, think about if you go back and watch that, a play here, a play there, that third down call, that third down play where Will Howard kept the ball, where it looked like there was a false start on there and they didn't call, but not to get in that. But there's a third down. They stopped that third down. They stopped the fourth down play, with the 4th and 1. The third down, if they'd have called that, or they stop Will Howard and he only gets 2 or 3 and it's 4th and 3 or 4th and 4 or 4th, something like that, they probably kick the field goal to tie it. But they got it to 4th and 1, and they should have known they were just going to go for that first down, and he just did a quick out pass for about a yard or two for the first down. If you stop them there, you got the ball back, you got momentum. You're able then maybe to move the ball down. You don't have to think about, hey, we got to score. And it's a different game. There's lots of different things that could have happened, and it would have been a win. And it was because, to me, they were more relaxed and all that, because no one gave them really much of a shot. Fast forward to this week. I know at one time they were 9-point favorites. I think they ended up being about a 6-point favorite still against UCLA, saying this is the one they needed to win. We're talking about pressure, not worried about it. I kept going, man, I worry about this one right here. I worry about it. You had a team coming off a bye who've been playing well. Their quarterback's now starting to put things together, and he's a veteran quarterback. And so I thought it really depends how they come out and get started. And then, of course, UCLA, I knew we were in trouble. When UCLA won that toss and took the ball, and oh, my goodness, this first drive is going to be big. And it was. They took 8 minutes to drive. Even though they only got a field goal, offense sat down that whole time, kind of like it was against, I forgot who it was, where they kind of took that out of them. Might have been Rutgers, where Nebraska had that big drive and their team just sat on the sideline, and now momentum, and they, where they were fired up and ready to go, and now they're, mellowed out. Same here. So it's just disappointing, frustrating. At least I did have some great winning years, from time I was a little boy till way into my 30s. While Nebraska was a winner and won consistently, and in the 90s was one of the best decades ever. And now you've got Husker fans that's grown up. What are they now? Mid-20s? Early to mid-20s, and really never seen Nebraska win, and definitely didn't see them win like I saw them win, and a lot of us saw them to win. And it's kind of frustrating. I mean, you think about a bowl. One time I remembered it was so easy to make a bowl. Now they make it look so hard. And it's really not. And there's nothing there you could do. To me, it's all psychological. I think they have to individually just think about what they need to do. Take care of yourself. If each player goes, I'm going to do my part. I ain't going to worry about Joey next to me or Joey on the offense or Joey on the defense. I'm going to do my 1/11th, do what I needed to do, correct my mistakes. And if each player does that, get over it. Maybe they'll get over it. Maybe at the end, when the game's getting close, and all these games are probably close, and it gets towards the end, fourth quarter, that they're just wanting to get out there and play, and they're just playing and not really, how do you put it, looking at the scoreboard, looking at the time. If they have a lead, man, can that click off quicker than it is? Or they're down and they're like, oh man, that clock's clicking awfully fast. I mean, deep in their conscience, deep in their heads, it has to be there. I've seen it in my life too many times. That's why I always told everybody, losing's addictive. But winning can be too. But we have to get back to that. And it's going to happen. I hope it happens this year. But I could see it as a lot of these veterans and a lot of these, it's moving. But the problem is it's like having bad apples in a batch, and you keep throwing good apples in there. And by the time the bad apples are taken out, the good ones are starting to turn bad as well. So you get these young players coming in, and even though they haven't lost as much, they're getting that feeling too. So once the ones that have been here so long leave, still in them a little bit. So I'm not saying get rid of our veterans. No way. I just feel like it's something they have to get through themselves. How about a sports psychologist? You know, John Smoltz played for the Braves for years. Had things going in his head and all that, and he ended up seeing a sports psychologist. Helped him out a lot. You've seen, if you guys know his career, one of the greatest, to me, one of the greatest starters as well as closers. Was able to do it all. Sports psychologist. Maybe Rule ought to look into that. Maybe they look into it themselves. I think it would do them so good. Can't do it much harm, right? But like I said last week, when I was predicting and seeing how the last 4 games were going to go, and this is how I saw it. I said, if they could beat UCLA and win number 6, you're going to see a different team, a more relaxed team, and it ain't going to surprise me if they win 8 or 9 games and it end up 9-3 or 8-4. I go, if they lose to UCLA, they will struggle to win number 6. They might still get there, but that's about all they're going to get. Now, if they could turn around and surprise everybody and beat USC, I think they could probably squeak out the last 2 wins, maybe one, at least one of them, and finish 7th. And I do have tickets, the Iowa game that I'm going to, and I already gave my remaining tickets away. I did that early in the year. I gave the UCLA game away and the Wisconsin game away because I already went to 3 of the first 4. And, you know, I live, you know, it takes me 12 hours to drive there, and I do it all in a weekend because I have to work. And I drive all night, get up there, go to the game, and drive all night back. I'm up about 50-something hours straight, to the point on Sunday I'm just crashing all day before I have to go to work on Monday. So I don't go a whole lot, but I did get the Iowa tickets because that's always on Black Friday. I'm off the whole weekend, Thursday, Friday. So I have Thanksgiving with the family. Good thing is this year it's now a night game. So I'll probably leave real late on Thanksgiving, head up to Iowa City, stop on the way there to stay the night because it's a night game. So I don't have to be there first thing in the morning. And I'm going to go to that game. I actually have 2 tickets, but thought I had someone going with me, but right now I don't. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other ticket. Probably maybe give it to someone when I get there, or I just keep it, and that way I guarantee the seat beside me is not taken. But it's not going to be easy when 2 of your last 3 games are on the road. And Wisconsin's playing well, and that's your next one at home. And you haven't beaten Wisconsin in what? 10, 11. When's the last time we beat them? 2011? It's been a long time. And it's not like we haven't played them well or played them close. We just can't get over that hump. And I hate to do it, but I would right now probably predict Nebraska to lose every one that's left. Not because they're the worst team, not because they're a bad team. Psychologically, it's not there. So something's got to change. And I feel like maybe a sports psychologist is not a bad idea. We'll do that for the team. Can each individual do that? A lot of players. Can they do it as a group? But I know they could do it. If they could finally get out of their own way, each one of them say, I'm going to just do my job. I'm going to do my 1/11th, go out there and do mine, take care, control what I could take control of. And that goes for the coaches too, and the play calling and all that. I ain't going to criticize any play calling. But y'all been in the league long enough, been coaching long enough, you know what works and don't work. You know who you're going against, what you need to do. Start thinking outside the box. Maybe it ain't a bad idea to throw a wrench in there and let Thomas call a game. I don't know if Rule's ever done it. Tom Osborne did it his whole coaching career. He was head coach and offensive coordinator. Smartest man I ever met. When it came to football, I'm sorry, arguably you ain't going to convince me anyone else. He just knew what was coming, and still up to the players to make the play, to go out there and do the job. Call the perfect play every time, and if they can't go out there and do it, it ain't going to matter what you call. Had some injuries in this game. Things go wrong. Things go bad. Again, some interceptions. Turnover seems to be coming back around. Even with Dylan, they're figuring some things out. Defenses are figuring things out. And again, he's still a freshman. It's not your typical freshman, like I've said. It's done a lot better than most freshmen would even consider being. I thought Harburg did okay. I thought Harburg wouldn't even mind seeing Harburg have a start because his legs makes a difference. And he's actually a lot better passer than he was last year. Got better receivers this year than he had last year. So it's kind of not fair to compare last year to this year. I think Dylan's probably got a better arm, probably better decision making, but experience wise, you got to give it to Harburg. And I got to admit, Harburg, it's kind of like they're both kind of opposite. Harburg will look more to run, and instead of keeping them eyes down a pass, when maybe he should look and find someone, mainly with them being so scared of him running. And Dylan's kind of the opposite. Now, he did run against Ohio State and all that, but he's more of keeps his eye, and that's probably the better thing to do. But sometimes you got to, like I said, take off, even if it is for 4 or 5 yards. Got to put that in their heads all the time. I'll take a 4 or 5 yard each time. If that's what he did every play, scrambles out of there and gets 4 or 5 yards each play, that's still going to be a first down and driving down the field. So they kind of, they're a little different there. And maybe is it time to, maybe in this game, do you see Daniel Kalen? But, Kalen still is a freshman himself. And do you really want to put him in that pressure moment when they're trying to get win number 6? So I don't mind, but I wouldn't mind seeing Harburg with one of these games where they're all, studying and practicing and getting ready for Dylan Raiola. And then Rule throws a wrench in there. And when they start the game, it's Harburg playing when they didn't practice for that. And they are different styles. And I still think they might think, okay, here he goes. It's going to be all running. And I don't think so. I think they could complement each other, open up the pass with the running of the running backs and the running with the quarterback. A belly option pass. I bet you that would work. Wish they would have ran that one. Of course, when you're down, it's hard to do it when they're more up, and then you got their front playing well, so the secondary don't have to bear down on them as much. But it's going to be tough. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be tough. Right now, I'm probably got them an underdog. I don't think they're going to be, they're going to be small underdogs. I think all these games, including USC, all of them are going to be within one score. So they're going to have to be able to win a one-score game against a good team to get win number 6. And like I said before, that's going to be the toughest win. If you get that against USC, man, I'd be so impressed. And I think they probably win at least one more. Wouldn't surprise me if they won both the last two. They're going to be more relaxed. Once they do that, it's like, oh, relief. We could just go out and play. But it's going to be tough no matter. That win number 6, like I said before, it's going to be your toughest win. Right. So that's my reaction to the game, guys. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really does help the channel out, gets it out there, and it doesn't cost you anything. And I really would appreciate it. So let's see how we do through the bye and get ready for USC. And hopefully things will change and maybe get some things out of their head and get going. So until the next video, guys, go Big Red.